The guitar. What's up? We're going to do last in line today. I'm going to go through all the parts. I don't play things note for note, but it's pretty close. You'll be able to, play your way through it. I'll give you an idea of what chords are being used. And then if you want to check out the record, slow it down and get every exact note, that's cool. I'm not going to do the solo today because I don't know it yet. But if I do figure that out, then I will do a video. And I could probably do a slow version of it, break it all down at half speed or something, even though I can't play it to speed. But you'd be able to practice it nonetheless. Anyway, if you know anything about my videos, I'm just trying to give you a good idea of what's going on. And for those of us that don't have a lot of time to break everything down super note for note, we could still jam and have fun. So the intro, if you're not familiar, is a I don't know if it's on acoustic or not, but I just play it with a clean tone, so we're going to do that first. So I'm going to play all the parts in the beginning, and then I'll go through all the parts of the individual things. We got an intro, a chorus, which is also the heavy part right after the intro, and we've got the verse, and we've got the rhythm behind the solo, and we also have a pre-chorus that leads in, and it's also like the end of the rhythm behind the solo. So anyway, let's get going. Okay, so I'm going to play the intro real quick, and then we'll go over all the parts. Alrighty, so there's 5 chords in the intro. We got A minor, we got G with B in the bass, we got C, we got G, and we also have an F. Okay, so for the simple version, you can just play these 2 strings for most of the chords, which is the A string and the B string. And I'm plucking them together. I'm not using a pick on this. You could hybrid it if you want to, but I'm not doing it. So for the A minor, it's going to be open A, and it's going to be the first fret of the B string. For the G with the B in the bass, you're going to play 2nd fret of the A and 3rd fret of the B. For the C chord, you're going to play 3rd fret of the A and 5th fret on the B. For the G, you're going to play the 3rd fret of the E string, the open G, and this 3rd fret of the B string. I fret the whole thing, it's just kind of natural for me, but I'm only plucking those 3 strings. And for the F chord, 1st fret on the B, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the D, then you're going to pick your 1st finger up and down. Okay, so there's 4 parts, and each part has the same beginning. The first half is the same, and it has 4 different endings. So let's look at the first half. So you got A minor, G with B in the bass, C, back to G with B in the bass. Once again. Okay, and then you're going to go from A minor to G with B in the bass, back to A minor. That's kind of fast. So there's two parts to it. First part is, second part, I'll get in on some finger picking a little bit after, but for now you can just pluck it. So that's going to be the beginning to all four parts. Here it is all again. Okay, first ending is going to go. That's also the third ending. Okay, so all together. Okay, you just go into that G chord. The second ending, now you're going to go to the F, pick up your first finger, put it back down, all together. Okay, as I said, the third ending is the same as the first. This is where the lyrics come in on the third and the fourth time around. Ends on a G instead of the F. Now the last one, you're just going to go. So you're going up and back down. You may not pick that B string on that last one because it's kind of a heavier part there. So all together, the fourth ending. Sorry. Okay, and then it goes into the chorus riff. Now here's just a couple of notes on the finger picking if you don't want to just play it like that, if you want to play it closer to the original. During that first half, when you get to the C, you can play that open G. Open G, so you can see what I'm doing there. Then you come back to this G with the B in the bass. G string, E, B, G. So. Okay, when you're going from the A minor to the G back to the A minor, you can use this D and G and D string, the open G and D, as a triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So it would sound like. Whoops. So I'm plucking G, D, pluck, G, D, pluck. And then for the F chord, so I'm playing the F chord, I'm plucking everything, I'm playing just the B string open. When I pick my first finger up, I'm picking up my second finger and hammer and putting it back down. And then playing that B string with my finger back down. Okay, let's go to the chorus. Okay, now we got pick in hand for the chorus. And we got our heavier setting and put it on our hardcore pickup there. Okay, first I'm going to play the chorus, and then we'll kind of break it down. I'll tell you what I think's going on. Okay, so first of all, we got this, what they kind of call a pedal tone, where the A chord keeps ringing behind it. Okay, so let's talk about that A for a second. You got a couple of choices. You can play the A bar chord like I was, and you're going to put your little fill in here. Or if it's hard for you to bounce back and forth, which I know in the beginning it's kind of hard, you can just play the A note open, and this way you can keep your hand in this position. And you may want to palm mute it a little bit. Palm muting uses this part of your hand here, this soft flesh. If you're not familiar, it's a heavy metal staple. And you're gonna, if I put my hand too far back, the string rings, but as I bring my hand forward, I get that chunky sound. It's basically right here where the strings come off of the bridge. Okay? If I go up too high, I start getting harmonics and stuff. So anyway, that's the palm muting. And then the third choice you might have seen me play is this power chord, which is basically, if you know your power chord, you can make a power chord off of an E shape, off of an A shape, or off of a D shape. And that's what I'm using here. This is the A power chord off of the D shape. And then I'm adding the third on top to make it a little heavier. So the notes for that A power chord would be 7th fret on the A, 7th fret on the D, 9th fret on the G, and 10th fret on the B string. That's kind of what I'm hearing the second time around. He's kind of, instead of going 3, he's doing a gallop kind of. You could do what you want. You could also play the A power chord here, of course. So that's some options for the A. Again, I don't, you know, I like to show you a bunch of options. Play it how you want. No disrespect to Vivian. Now let's talk about these little stabs between here. Basically what you got there is you got a suspended 4th chord, first in D and then in C, and then it's resolving to the major chord. Now, if you know anything about the cage system, that's something I've been learning a lot. Everything on the guitar can be played based off of 5 different shapes: C, A, G, E, and D, which is based on all these open chords: C, A, G, E, and D. Okay, I'm not going to get into all that right now, but what I am going to show you is how to play the suspended off of 2 of those shapes. The first one is the one I prefer, which is off of this E shape. So you may recognize this. If I take an E chord, whoops, I'm going off the neck here. If I take an open E and I slide it up to the 10th fret, and then I put my bar down, then I'm going to get a D major chord. And if I go back 2 frets, I'll get C major. Okay? Now, I choose to only play these bottom 4 strings because I want to have that open A ringing. So what you get is this shape. You get your first finger is going to fret the 2 high strings on the 10th fret. Then you got 11th fret of the G and 12th fret of the D string. This is something that Jimi Hendrix would do and other people. And then you fret this with your thumb, the root, and you can do your little... Anyway, that's a different lesson. But if I hold my pinky down here on the 12th fret, I'm changing this F sharp to a G, which is what gives me the 4th. The F sharp is the 3rd of the chord. The G is the 4th of the chord. So when I hold this down, that's a suspended 4. When I take it away, it becomes a major. So we got, and then at C. That's what's great about learning the shapes, is then, you know, when you want to transpose from D to C, all you got to do is slide 2 frets. Okay, the second position would be right here. If I look at an A chord, okay, and I only look at the bottom 3 strings of an A chord, I basically have this. And this one's open, right? So if I transpose that to D, what I get is this. Okay, that's something that, you know, Jimmy Page used. Something like that. Anyway, this is a major shape right here. So first finger on the 5th fret of the E string, and then I tend to use these 2 fingers. You could use what you want. The pinky is on the B string on the 7th fret, and the ring finger is on the G string of the 7th fret. That's D major. So again, here's my F sharp. If I want to suspend it, I got to raise this to a G note. So first I'm going to do this. See that? So I'm going from, and then again you just slide down 2 frets. So you could decide where you want to play it or where you think Vivian's playing it. I prefer this down here because I get more notes. Okay, so that covers that part. Again, that's that part, and then it's also the chorus. Let's go on to the verse. Okay, the verse. The verse features an A chord and a G chord, and it has some licks in there, so I'll play through it. There's a couple of variations that I'll go over later, and then I'll break it down. So you've got, first of all, okay, let me just play it first. Okay, so what we got there is we got this A chord, right? And we're just doing nice open. Sometimes it's good not to just be wailing all the time. You give some space. This is when the lyrics come in and all that. So I'm just playing a power chord. Once again, you could play it here at the 5th fret if you want. I prefer to play it here on the open string. Okay, let's talk about the A natural minor scale, which is also called A minor, or it might be referred to as A Aeolian. Here is the shape that I always remember for natural minor. Here's my root A. I'm going to start here. I'm going to play a whole half shape, a whole half shape, and then a whole shape if you know some of my other videos or whatever. But basically, if you want to talk about fret numbers, on the low E it's 5, 7, 8. On the A it's 5, 7, 8. And on the D it's 5, 7. Okay, but I want to play the riffs here in the second position. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my pinky here to start on the 5th fret of the E string. And then I'm going to play the scale going up from there. You hear how it's the same notes? Okay, so you got 5th fret of the E, 2, 3, 5 on the A, 2, 3, 5 on the D, and then the 2nd fret of the A, of the G string, sorry. So when he goes between chords, he's going to use some riffs in there, kind of like if you've seen my Crazy Train, or it's a heavy metal, you know, thing to do. It's really cool when you're changing between chords to kind of make this thing. So the first riff is going to be right when we're going into it. So we're coming out of, okay, then he's going to go, now for the first 2 notes you could either play C and G or D and G. I kind of hear both. I kind of go between the 2 of them. It's up to you. But then you're going to play D, C, B, and G. So 5, 3, 2, 3. And this part I don't think is palm muted. I don't really play it like that. You want to put vibrato on that G note. Then you're going to go to your A chord. 4 times. Now you got a riff that you're going to play before you go to the G chord, and that is A, C, B, and A again. This is palm muted. Of course, you could use the open A if you wanted to, but I like to play this way. So that's going to sound like this. Now when we get to the G, we're going to do the gallop instead of just the 2 stabs. It's da 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 da. Then when you go back to the A, you're going to continue that gallop 1 time. Then we got this riff that, if you know the song, it's pretty stands out. It's got this pinch harmonic, which is that A. It's the last note of our scale. If you don't know about pinch harmonics, you want to kind of use this side of your thumb and the pick at the same time, touching the string, and you got to look here. You can see as I move my pick, I get different sounds. Usually right above this pickup here is a good spot, but you know, it's up to you. You figure it out. So the riff is this. I'm pulling the C off to A. I'm playing the high A. Then I'm pulling the C off to A. Then I'm playing G, A, G. But I'm bending the G. So all together, it's going to sound like this. Again. Okay, then it goes back to the... Then we got a riff before we go into the pre-chorus, which is used throughout the pre-chorus. Again, it's palm muted. Again, it's the second half of that first riff. It's D, C, D, and G. Then it goes to F, which is the start of the pre-chorus. Okay, and after the first verse, he does do a dive bomb. If I could grab my bar. If you don't have a bar, you could bend the neck. Just be careful because you could snap your neck. But if you just hit an A, this is something Randy Rhoads did on Suicide Solution. It's not as good, but at least you get something out of it. Anyway, let's go to the pre-chorus. Okay, here's the pre-chorus. And it goes back into that part. So the pre-chorus is pretty easy. It's just F to G. But we got that lick in the middle, which is I showed you before. So I'm not sure what he's playing exactly, but it makes sense to me to go to G before the F chord, and then go to A before the G chord. So there's a slight difference. And okay, and then we're back to that. Easy enough. Again, palm muting. All right. Now let's check out the rhythm behind the solo. Now we'll go over the rhythm behind the solo, and I'll play it through, and then we'll go over it. It's mostly stuff that you've already seen in the song. Okay, so you can see it's F to A, and it does that 4 times, or twice. And after the F chord, you're still playing that riff, muted. But when you go to the A, it's just G. So it does that twice. Then after it does it twice, it starts to get heavier because the solo starts picking up. So you get, which is very similar to the pre-chorus, right? Except the first time you go to A, at this point you're pretty much into the same as the pre-chorus, because the second time you're going to go to G. And one word about this part, and when it goes from the pre-chorus into the chorus, I don't think he does it on the record, but it sounds kind of cool to go G, G sharp, and then hit your, even though he may not have done that in the original. So that would sound like this. Okay then, this video is getting long. The only thing left is after the solo, the third verse has just a little bit of a riff added in when you play the A chord. So normally the verse would sound like this. Right? So those first 3 times there's just a gap. What I think that he's playing in there on the third one, he's adding something, is he's playing this riff. So he's playing 4 notes like that. And then the second time. So it's going to be the same rhythm. Maybe I'm confusing you, but we got, right, 1, 2, 3, 4, so. Okay, again is the first one, and then is the second one, and then it's the same as what we just did, and then the last one is the same one we've been playing. Let's try it again. If that makes sense. Okay, so I think I covered all the parts. If I missed something, let me know. And if I get a chance, I'll try and do a video for the solo. And if you have any questions about anything else, or you got requests for songs, let me know. I'll see what I can do. Thanks.